edition of Voice of Victory Lane with Kip Thompson. Hope everyone has had a great week thus far. And I know everyone is gearing up for the weekend, most likely probably trying to get ready to attend a race or be a part of a race somewhere. Fayetteville Motor Speedway is going to be out of running for the whole entire month of August. We always take off the month of August, and we will be back the latter part of September as we have our second annual Big C Memorial with the Carolina Clash Super Late Model Dirt Series inside the Fayetteville Motor Speedway. Tonight, our show is being brought to you in part by Raging Rooster Catering, Tony and Bobby Jackson, my good friends out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. Groups of 25 or more, they cater. Hey, they'll meet your needs, whatever you need. Check them out on Facebook. Raging Rooster Catering on Facebook. It'll have an opportunity for you. They have the phone number. They've got their email address. And those guys will be glad to talk to you about any of your catering needs. And for those of you who are like me and you do a lot of cooking at home, you cook at the racetrack and all that kind of stuff, you need to make sure you get your hands on some of this. The Roosters all-purpose seasoning. It is some of the greatest stuff I've ever used. It just kind of took my cooking to another level. And now instead of just getting one high five, I get high fives with both hands from all of my friends, and that is courtesy of Tony and Bobby Jackson, Raging Rooster Catering's all-purpose seasoning. We thank them for being our show sponsor. As we continue to go through our show and talk to several different drivers and teams, super excited about who we have on the show tonight. A good friend of mine out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. He's a driver number 15. He drives a Legend car over the Fayetteville Motor Speedway, also visits Rockfish on occasion. Out of Fayetteville, North Carolina, my good friend Ryan Shabram. Ryan, hey, man, good to have you. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate you having me on.
Well, it's always fun whenever we get you in victory lane because you always do such a good job. And I tell you what, I don't know of another driver in any class that when they take the helmet off that sweats any more than you do. Because a lot of times, you hear me say, hey, man, go ahead and wipe your forehead, man. You earned that win. I know it's always hot out there, and the tension is at an all-time high level. But man, you've had an awesome year this year. Right now, sitting on 7 wins for 2022.
Oh yeah, those Legend class. It's definitely such tight racing, and I mean, each win you got to work for it. Battling up there, it's definitely tiring. That's for sure.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. In that Legend class, I mean, there is so many drivers, the quantity of drivers, but the quality of drivers in that class is just kind of unbelievable. Because, like you say, every week, it's just such tight competition that any of your top 10 qualifiers any given night could pull off a win.
Oh yeah. I think the last race it was the 16 that ran in the A main. I mean, you just look through and read the names, and I ain't gonna lie, about all 16s capable of winning any night. And that's what I like about that class is, I mean, everyone's got basically the same equipment, and it's just, I mean, it's tight racing. It doesn't get much tighter than that most nights.
Well, most of the time I've said it a lot inside the Fayetteville Motor Speedway when it comes to Legends. We can have the late models, we can have the crate late models, we can have the sport mods. And I'm just going to be honest with you, man, that a lot of times, in most cases, the Legends are some of the best side-by-side racing that we'll see in any feature any given Saturday night at Fayetteville.
Yeah, and we can keep it clean. We've had some rough races this year, but it's starting to come back around.
Yeah. Well, what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break here and hear from our sponsor. When we're going to come back, we're going to talk to Ryan Shabram a little bit more in depth. We're going to talk about some of his sponsors. We're going to talk about how he actually got started in racing and what his plans are as Fayetteville gets back up off the ground the latter part of September, and where you can catch Ryan Shabram in action right after this message from our sponsor.
Tonight's show is being sponsored by Raging Rooster Catering out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. We cater any event, big or small, weddings, holiday events, and festivals. Call us today, 910-237-4565. Follow us on Facebook at Raging Rooster Catering. We invite you to come get you some.
Show. With us tonight is Ryan Shabram, who has recorded 7 wins on the 2022 season. Very, very frequently visits Fayetteville Motor Speedway, is one of our hometown local guys who is an awesome driver, does a great job at Fayetteville, and also visits the Rockfish Motor Speedway on occasion as well. So, Ryan, let's back up and turn back the clock a little bit, and let's just tell some of the fans who, they know who that is with that black car with that blue number 15 on it. Let's talk a little bit about the guy who's behind the wheel. What got you started in racing, and how long have you been doing this?
I've been racing round track for about 6 years now, but really I used to drag race, and I actually went with a buddy to sell some tires to someone and came across the legend car while we were there. That's the first time I seen it, and I got to talking to the guy, went back the next day, bought it, and I've been hooked ever since. It's definitely been a blast, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, I know in watching you over the years, over the last 3 or 4 years specifically, you can really tell that your comfort level and in that comfort zone is really getting to where you need to be able to put yourself in a position to win every weekend. It's an awesome thing to see, to have not been doing it really that long per se. You always have a car that if things can stay clean and you don't have a problem, you are one of those that is in the mix in being in a position to win on Saturday night.
Yeah, it's definitely been a struggle over the past years. And when I first bought that first car, the guy that I bought it from told me, say, look, go out there and have fun. Don't expect to win in your first couple years. And him telling me that, it got me to where I'm at now, because he was right. Those first 2, I don't think I got my first win till my 3rd year. And even when I got down on myself, I remember what he told me, and it's true. It took some time. The competition in that class, you just can't hop out there and, well, there's been a few that have, but it's tough. Go straight to the front.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations, man, on what you've been able to do in such a short time. And I've said it before, and I think you'll agree too. It doesn't really matter what class that you run in. I try to emphasize a lot of times to encourage guys to keep working. If you haven't gotten a win and things are not going your way, keep working, keep digging, because races really, they're not won on the racetrack. They're won in the race shop, so, burn that midnight oil, do what you got to do to be better every single week. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, definitely. And like I said before, it definitely takes a lot of work, and also the people that you surround yourself with. Luckily I've had some amazing people help me out throughout the years. Jonathan Kroom, Brian Odom, all the Taylor family. It's a whole group effort. It definitely just, it's crazy the amount of support that I've got, and I've been lucky to have, Yeah,
well, through your legend career, let me just ask here, to hit a question here. And I know you've been in the legends ever since I've known you, and like I said, have done a phenomenal job. But I think it was maybe, I don't know if it was the early part of this year, early part of last year, man, because time just runs together with me, man, with everything everybody's got going on. You kind of got your feet wet there a little bit in the 602 Sport Mod. Is that something, hey, maybe that wasn't for you, I just didn't like it, or just feel more comfortable in Legend, or, what was up with that?
Well, I got it. I was actually just wanting to try something different, and I had a blast, but it was a lot more expensive than what I was wanting to do. And I tore up a lot of stuff, and it just kind of took the fun out of it. It kind of made it a full-time job. And I just really didn't have the time or the money for that class. So I enjoyed racing the modifieds. It's a whole different style of driving, but just wasn't for me.
I got you. But so now the Legends is kind of where your main focus is and what you want to stick with.
Yeah, it's just the class itself is so affordable. You're running against the same equipment, same shocks, tires, frames. It's just, it's hard to beat that class, really. And I think that's why it's growing so much. When I first started 5-6 years ago, we had 6 cars every night. And then now we're hitting 35 average, and it's still growing. Every week it's growing.
Yeah, it's definitely a growing class, and yeah, like you say, I mean, you got 32 to 33, 34 cars. I mean, you're doing two features, an A feature, a B feature, with 16 to 18 cars per week, and man, that's a lot of cars. I know there's a lot of tracks who wish they had that, and commend Fayetteville Motor Speedway for what they do to provide that kind of deal for the legends, because I really don't know of anybody else other than Rockfish that really caters or has dirt legends on a regular basis in this area.
Yeah, they're about the only two. Other tracks fill in where weekends we have off, but I mean those are the two home tracks for around here.
Absolutely. We're always glad to see you, man, when you come to Fayetteville Motor Speedway. Okay, so we've talked about the beginning, where you got started, where you are now with 7 wins on the 2022 season. Before we get into what the remaining part of the schedule looks like for you for 2022, let's make a quick mention about the guys who sponsor you, that help you have the best equipment to put you on that pad called Racing for Heroes Victory Lane with me on Saturday night.
Definitely. First, I'd like to thank Amstel Trucking. They Hope, he's backed me since day one, and I mean, he's got a car. He helps out. I mean, multiple cars out there, but I mean, without him, I mean, there's no way I'd be able to do it all. And he actually sponsors a legend class. I mean, there's just something about these cars he likes. He used to have some late models, and he swears up and down these legend cars are the way to go. But definitely like to thank Amstel, Scott's service company, Jonathan Scott. I mean, he's been with me for a few years, and Dwayne Lee with Allstate, Dustin Phillips with Fast Lane Towing, or Fast Lane Oil Change. I mean, there's just a whole group of people, and they all play a part, and I couldn't do it without them. That's for sure.
Well, as we look forward and look toward the latter part of, I guess you could say now we're in the second half of the season, kind of what are your plans? I know you did some East Lincolnton, last year. You went on a couple of road trips, away from Fayetteville and Rockfish for the remaining part of 2022. What do you see as far as schedule-wise for you guys?
We actually just got back from a trip to Pennsylvania 2 weeks ago, I think it was. So we went up there and ran. But as far as the later part of the year, I'm actually going to miss a few races. We got some vacations planned, but and I'm not points racing this year, so it's kind of been nice to be able to go and do other things. But really, we'll just hit the Fayetteville tracks and then Rockfish and go to the beach when we can. That's about all.
Well, that sounds like a plan. Well, man, we appreciate you taking time to be on the show with us. We wanted to jump in and have you on a show because, man, you have done a phenomenal job this year. Again, 7 wins on the 2022 season. And, man, we just wish you the best of luck from our group here with the Voice of Victory Lane. And we just wish you all the best going into the second half of the season. And thank you so much, man, for taking time to be on the show.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is Ryan Shabram out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. He's the driver of the number 15, Amstel Trucking, Dwayne Lee, Allstate Insurance, Scott Services, Heating and Air Conditioning, number 15. Great guy, and just does a phenomenal job in the legend class at the Fayetteville Motor Speedway. Tonight's show has been brought to you by Raging Rooster Catering, Tony and Bobby Jackson out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. Again, we invite you to look at Facebook and go to their Facebook page, Raging Rooster Catering. Groups of 25 or more, just give them a call. Their number is on their Facebook page along with their email address for their contact information. Be sure to give those guys a call today if you are looking at having an event, a wedding, whatever it may be. Group of 25 or more, one call will do it all. Those guys will show up and they will show out. I promise you that. Also, make sure if you see me around the racetrack or you see Bobby Jackson racetrack or anywhere that you can find Raging Roosters all-purpose season, you need to make sure you get some of this stuff because it's as good as it is, okay? Again, for Ryan Shabram, I'm Kip Thompson, voice of Victory Lane. And as always, be on the lookout. I could be coming to a racetrack near you, and we could have you on our show sometime very soon. Hope everybody has a great week. Somehow, some way, get to a local racetrack, whether it be dirt or asphalt this weekend. Support a local racetrack. Take a kid to a racetrack and find somebody who's never been to the race before and take them and let them experience what we do every Saturday night at all of these tracks that surround our local area. Again, for Ryan Shabram, I'm Kip Thompson. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to go to YouTube, subscribe, and share our page. Also, go to Voice of Victory Lane, like and share Voice of Victory Lane Facebook page. Everybody have a great night. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you again soon. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.